Welcome back everyone to the ReactJS tutorial series. So it's session number 4. In session number 3 we learned about properties and states, and in session 4, as I promised, that I will be creating a real-time application. So we'll be creating one project catalog application, and in the same project catalog application I will be showing the entire project list. We'll be doing the delete and edit operation as well as creating a new item. So we are going to do all sort of CRUD operations on a real-time application. So for UI we would be using Bootstrap CSS, and as well as we would be using material UI icons for showing the icons. So though we have many other options available, for example we can use the React Fabric or Office Fabric UI modules as well, but for the standard one I would be just going for Bootstrap this time. Okay, so let's jump to our project which we created earlier. So this was our early project. So in the heading I have changed that to projects because we are going to work on the project module this time. And to start with, I'll be creating one class, that is projects.js, and importing statement from React component. Alright, so now I'll just type the export default, which you must be familiar till now. Class name as projects, extend it from components, and calling the render method. So as I said, we'll be working on project list. Then I would be creating one state, and under that state I'll use project items, and these items would be collection of my projects. So it will be an array, and it will have the ID and project name, and let's say department and manager, sort of some fields corresponding to the project's status. Alright, so we can just pass the initial value to it. Let's say project 1, ID 1. Project name is some R&D project, is for research and development department. Manager is, let's say, Alex, and status is not started. Alright, so we'll just copy it so that I can have another couple of items as well. So ID 2, let's say this is a project for IT department, and information technology mark, and projects, let's say, in progress. So why I have used this array collection, because I'm going to use the map function to show out all these listed projects on this project application page. So I just initialize my state. Now I'll just go to my render method, where I'll be typing, or I'll be using just, let's say, the tables. Let me just define table, having some header, and th. Let me just copy it. We are having 5 columns, so okay, ID, project name, department, manager, and status. So these are header columns. So now I would like to have my rows, and those rows should be showing the data which we just binded with our project item collection. So how to do that? For that I have to go to, first of all, include body, and in body I'll be using parenthesis to read out my state, and the state is project items. I'll use map. So what this map would do, this map would map all the entire items one by one with my this returned HTML. So I'll use just arrow from mapping it, and under this I'll be just returning one HTML, and that HTML would be rows. Right. And with this row I'll bind out all my this item properties. The property item would be giving me ID, name, all the related project properties. So what it is doing is it's mapping the entire collection one by one with the returned HTML. So I'll just use td, and in this td I'll use parentheses again to extract out the properties. So you can see I have just got the property, and same thing I'm going to do for the rest of the stuff. In this project name, in this department, and this one manager, and this one would be status. So this is how we can just bind our collection with the map field, which would be reiterating through all the collection items. Alright, so let's run this one. So it's showing my projects, and not because we have not binded that to our app.js, we did not import our class. So I'll just import my class, import, and so projects from components projects. Right. So now I'll use the projects component inside app.js. Now we got our table. So this time table is looking very clumsy. So how to improve, how to make it better to look beautiful? So we can include Bootstrap module and Bootstrap CSS from CDN as well, along with some icons which can have those icons, let's say delete and the edit icon. So let's start doing that. So for installing module, you have to run the npm I bootstrap command, which will install the Bootstrap module. And as well as I said, I will be using the icons for delete and edit or checkpoint. So we need to install this material UI core. So I can have the other font awesome modules as well install, but this time I would be using the material one. So let's do that out. So you can just terminate this one and can just install the modules. So it takes a while. So one by one you can install all rest of the stuff, and these links from the CDN, you have to include all these links in your HTML, which is there in the public folder. So you have to go to the top and then paste all the references to this Bootstrap CSS and the Bootstrap script files. Alright, so we are all set. We can go back to our project CSS and we can just import our module. So the module name we just installed is this material UI icons, because I'm going to use the icons from here. And the icons would be, let's say, delete, it will start giving me intelligence for it, and edit, and let's say check. So now in front of these items I'll be including couple more column for my icons. So I'm just doing that out. So let's say I'm using delete, and as well as I'll be using check, and check icon would be giving me checkbox, and in future I'll bind a method to it so that if a person clicks on check, then it should mark the project as completed. So that functionality we are going to build on it. Alright, so I'm saving it. Let's go back to our screen. So if I just do a refresh, okay, so my server, I stopped it because of installing Bootstrap modules. So I'll just restart my server. Alright, so I'm just typing yes, so it will restart my localhost server. So when you restart it, it's something that takes a while. So if it must be showing starting the development server, so it takes a bit. It started. Let's see. Okay, we got our icon, but still it's not looking good. So let's include the classes for Bootstrap. Let's make that this table a bit beautiful. So in table you can type class name, and which is to specify the class the style name. And for Bootstrap we can just simply specify table, and further these rows we can specify, or we can just make it right aligned so that it can look properly. So right now after applying this table, it gave me a better look and feel. Now I'm just aligning the entire stuff to the right. So let's type that class and text align right, and I'll just copy this class and pass it on to all the TDs, including headers as well. Alright, so just saving it. Okay, so now my fields are aligned properly. Now I can have these action buttons to be look bit better. I can bind those with the button so that I can also have the events associated with them. So let's just bind that out. Button. Alright, for this one, button. Okay. Alright, so now it's a bit visible and looks better as well. Alright, so till now we have binded our project item collection to a table, and make use of Bootstrap and icon material UI icon library to make it a bit better. So in practical scenario where we would be having many more components on the page, then this table would get resized automatically because with the Bootstrap it makes itself as a responsive. So let's go to a next level to bind one event with these buttons. So whenever some person is clicking delete item, then what action should be taken? So item should be deleted. So let's bind that out. So the simple is on click we can just bind one behavior. So this behavior would be this starts let's say handle delete. Alright, so now I'm just calling up so that I can write one function to handle this. So handle delete, I'll be using arrow functions. Alright, so how to pass the parameter to it, like which item is being clicked. So to make that happen we have to pass the current item to it so that we can display it. So that would be coming as an part of parameter, the argument. So I can just type console.log and have item dot, let's say project name, so that it should be visible for us, that we should be sure that the item which we are clicking, it should get delete. So now I'll just move down to my method. I can just again use the arrow functions and pass the argument to it, and the argument would be item. This my current item, which is binded to this row only. So let's just have a look. I'm just navigating to my browser. So I'm clicking this one. So let's do F12, just check what it did for us. So I just click on, okay, this one. So it's showing IT1 is clicked. If I'm clicking on top one, it's showing R&D. So this way we are able to capture the events. Now in next session, I'll be telling you how you can actually delete the item, how you can actually change the state of the item by using these actions. And as well as in the subsequent sessions I'll be covering how you can create the new project item and have that as a separate component altogether and bind that component to the same project gallery. So in this session we just learned how to use the state item collections, how to bind them, and how to use the Bootstrap modules to make it look better. So wait for my next session. Thank you.